Oboki was a Yoruba boy born into the bustling city of Enugu, Nigeria. Despite his Yoruba heritage, he was raised in the east of the country and spent his formative years there, from his primary education to his secondary and tertiary education. His parents, natives of Eiye in Ogun State, relocated to Enugu for work, and Oboki was quick to adapt to his new environment. It was during his time at a high institution in Enugu that Oboki became affiliated with the Supreme Vikings confraternity, a notorious secret society. Despite the risks and potential consequences, Oboki dove headfirst into the organization, quickly becoming a devoted and feared member. He participated in numerous conflicts and skirmishes within the campus, gaining a reputation as a ruthless warrior. His greatest adversaries were members of the Black Axe confraternity, and the two groups engaged in a bitter and ongoing rivalry. Oboki's involvement in the Supreme Vikings confraternity extended beyond mere fraternity membership. He was also accused of engaging in a number of illicit activities, including armed robbery and unlawful possession of firearms. His infamous status only grew as time passed, solidifying his position as a formidable force within the confraternity. Despite his tumultuous activities, Oboki managed to complete his HND program in 2004, though his involvement with the Supreme Vikings confraternity did not end there. In 2006, he relocated to Eiye, taking with him the skills and connections he had garnered over the years as a member of the confraternity. Upon relocating to Eiye, Oboki was dismayed to find that the Supreme Vikings confraternity lacked a strong presence in the area. With few fellow members in sight, he felt out of place and isolated within the fraternal underworld, cut off from the familiarity and support he had grown accustomed to in the East. This sense of alienation was only compounded by the realization that the region was dominated by the Black Axe, his sworn enemies from his time at university. The memory of his countless confrontations with the Black Axe in the East still fresh in his mind, Oboki was reluctant to even consider joining their ranks. After all, he had dedicated himself to the Supreme Vikings confraternity, a group that he had been willing to risk life and limb for in order to maintain their dominance on campus. Moreover, the countless hits the Black Axe had attempted on him during his heyday had only served to strengthen his resolve to oppose them. His experiences had left him with a burning hatred for the confraternity, one that he was not prepared to set aside for convenience's sake. In addition to the grievances he held against the Black Axe, Oboki's reputation as a notorious outlaw in the East complicated matters further. His involvement in high-profile bank robberies had made him a target of law enforcement agencies, with the authorities actively seeking to apprehend him. This, coupled with his steadfast loyalty to the Supreme Vikings confraternity, made it clear that his transition to Eiye would not be a smooth one. Oboki's meeting with Janko, an Airlord confraternity member, marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life. The two quickly bonded over their shared inclinations towards criminal activity, and before long, they were embarking on a series of daring heists and armed robberies. As their trust in each other deepened, Oboki confided in Janko his desire to re-enter the confraternity lifestyle. Janko, wise to the dangers inherent in such a move, cautioned Oboki against joining the Airlord street wing. Given Oboki's history as a member of a rival confraternity, Janko feared that his initiation could be fraught with peril. The risks were too great, he cautioned, and the possibility of betrayal at the initiation ground was all too real. Instead, Janko proposed that Oboki return to the world of higher education, where he could join the Airlords through the relative safety of their university chapter. Oboki heeded Janko's advice and applied for admission to Tesed College of Education in Eiye. His acceptance into the college provided him with the perfect opportunity to infiltrate the Airlords, and he wasted no time in seeking out their confraternity within the university. In a matter of months, he was formally initiated into their ranks, having deftly navigated the treacherous waters of his past affiliations. With his past behind him and his allegiance to the Airlords cemented, Oboki saw an opportunity to broaden the scope of his criminal activities. No longer constrained by his old commitments, he dropped out of Tesed College of Education and devoted himself fully to his new life as a confraternity member. His skills as a seasoned outlaw, combined with his newfound connections, made him a formidable force in the underworld of Eiye. Oboki's relentless ambition continued to drive him forward, propelling him to seek admission at Moshood Abiola Polytechnic after his stint at Tesed College of Education. Once enrolled, he swiftly rose through the ranks of the Airlord confraternity within the institution, solidifying his status as a feared and formidable presence on campus. Wherever he went, he was rarely seen without his signature Beretta M9 pistols, a bold symbol of his unyielding authority. In 2008, Oboki embarked on a robbery mission with his confederate, Janko. The two successfully pulled off the heist, but Janko's avarice took hold, and he absconded with the entirety of the spoils. Oboki, seething with indignation, initiated a fervent pursuit of the treacherous Janko. With the invaluable assistance of Eiye Gadaffi, Oboki finally located Janko, and the two administered brutal justice on the traitorous confraternity member at the gates of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic. Oboki's notoriety as a ruthless and adept hitman spread far and wide, rippling across the treacherous currents of Nigeria's underworld. Word of his unparalleled abilities to bring down rival cultists and buccaneers reverberated throughout the criminal networks of the country. The police, determined to bring his reign of terror to an end, intensified their efforts to capture the elusive Aboki. His luck, however, began to falter as the year drew to a close. Oboki's insatiable quest for riches led him to undertake a daring bank robbery in Ado-Ekiti, a gambit that proved to be his undoing. Oboki, in a brazen display of audacity, stormed into the bank, demanding money and compliance from the terrified employees. The police, alerted to the situation, moved swiftly to apprehend him. A fierce shootout ensued, with Oboki's immense experience and arsenal on full display. In the end, the weight of his reputation and the law proved too much for Oboki to bear. Cultism is a pervasive and insidious issue that has plagued our society for far too long, leaving in its wake a trail of devastation, destruction, and loss of innocent lives. It is a scourge that has infiltrated our educational institutions, our communities, and even our families, perpetuating a cycle of violence, fear, and intimidation. The allure of cultism often stems from a false sense of belonging, protection, and power. Young people, in particular, are vulnerable to the charms of cult leaders who promise them a sense of identity, camaraderie, and invincibility. However, this allure is nothing more than a thinly veiled deception, designed to ensnare unsuspecting individuals into a world of violence, crime, and moral decay. Once entrenched in a cult, members are often forced to participate in illicit activities, such as robbery, extortion, and even murder. They are also subjected to physical and emotional abuse, forced to undergo initiation rituals that are designed to break their spirits and destroy their sense of self-worth. The consequences of cultism are far-reaching and devastating. Families are torn apart, communities are terrorized, and innocent lives are lost. The economic and social cost of cultism are also staggering, with businesses and properties destroyed, and the overall quality of life diminished. Moreover, cultism perpetuates a culture of fear, silence, and impunity. Victims are often too afraid to speak out, while perpetrators are emboldened by their perceived power and influence.